Okay, so let's take a look at Unit 1, the colonies and the Revolutionary War. I am not going to read this whole thing to you. I think you are very capable of doing that, but what I am going to do is run through these questions with you the best we can. So, your first question, what is mercantilism? Now, we have gone over mercantilism, I don't even know how many times. You went over it last year, but for giggles, let's go back up here and take a look. So we have mercantilism was an economic system in which colonies provided resources to the mother countries, which then forced its colonies to buy the finished goods at high prices. If you put something along the lines of trading only with the mother country, you might want to make sure that you say economic system, something along those lines. The history of the United States is from what mother country? So our mother country is, where did we find it in here? English settlers, the British colonies on the eastern coast of North America. Describe the New England colonies. Okie dokie, here we go, right here. New England colonies of the north, port cities, smaller towns with self-supporting governments, and the first American colleges. Now, if I remember correctly, the next one is the southern colonies. Southern colonies moving along the south coast. Remember, we've got better climate, more fertile land, and we want to write down plantations here. Plantations are the big feature to associate with the southern colonies. What is salutary neglect? Moving right along here. So if we look, England began to tax the colonies to pay for the war. What war? We're in the French and Indian War section here. Those taxes are going to make the colonies very angry because this ends the period of salutary neglect. Salutary neglect was the time period where the colonies had been left alone to run themselves. Remember, that was when we adapted those self-representative governments. Good. Next question. Highlight the proclamation line on the map. If we read here, we remember that the proclamation line stretches along the eastern seaboard of the United States, that mountain range right there. And if we look at this map, oh, look at that. It's already labeled for you. But the proclamation line is going to be right here, and the geographic feature that it follows is the Appalachian Mountains. Remember, Appalachian Mountains. We don't want the settlers moving west. And now we're into section 2. Hopping into the Revolutionary War. Your first question here is asking you two sides. This one should be pretty easy. You've got the colonists or the patriots against the mother country, redcoats. 3 advantages the colonists would have. If we look at the colonists and how maybe they were going to do better, they used new fighting tactics. They had knowledge of the landscape, and they had a determined spirit to defeat the British. How might the French and Indian War have caused tensions between England and the colonists? This is that ending of salutary neglect. So we end salutary neglect, and we begin taxing. And the phrase we want to remember there is taxation without representation. And that leads us right into question 10. Pick and describe 2 taxes that were placed on the colonies. You've got a few to choose from here. You've got the Stamp Act, the Tea Act, and then you have You could talk about the Quartering Act. That's not really a tax, but we get the gist here. You could remember the Townshend Act, and remember that was lead, paint, paper, glass, and tea. That was another tax that we went over. If you wanted to go back in your notes from that section, you can look up a few more. They give you some there. Pick and describe 2 examples of growing nationalism in the colonies. So we know nationalism, pride in one's country. You're looking anywhere in this point here. So Thomas Paine's Common Sense will do that for you. First Continental Congress, Boston Tea Party, Committees of Correspondence. All of those are examples of nationalism. On to section 3. What is significant about the date of the Declaration of Independence? What happens on that day? July 4th, Declaration of Independence. This is when they drafted the document. Lots of people believe that that is also the day that we signed it. It is not. It's fine. We celebrate the founding of our country that day, July 4th. What were 2 main objectives? 2 main objectives. We wanted to state the reasons, and then we wanted to outline the reasons why. Remember, this is the breakup letter to England. This is why we want to break up, and these are the reasons that you gave us to believe that we can do so. What philosophical movement was expressed in the Declaration of Independence? That's going to be Enlightenment. Look at it. You got Enlightenment. Those are going to be the ideas that are movement that spurs us. 4 influences that shaped the U.S. democracy. You've got a whole bunch to pick from here. We've got England influences us. The representative governments that we had formed influence us. You can give examples: the Mayflower Compact, Roman law, Athenian state. You can do Montesquieu, Locke. Individual rights is going to influence us. That bicameral legislature, you got a whole bunch of ideas to pick from there. And that is Unit 1. I'm going to be posting these videos for each of the units, and I will also go ahead and post them for the multiple choice to help you out as well.